Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today. I'm happy that it's a good Saturday, and despite all the effort I had to make to get the glorious people I'm going to have on the show today, I'm glad that we're finally here and we're going to be sharing together on the subject of funding small businesses in Ghana. So, the Truth interviews are a way of learning what is happening with small business owners, small businesses in Africa, what they are doing, and I'm helping them come more to limelight and learn from their journeys. Today is a special day because we're going to be learning from the journeys of big players in the microfinance and the fintech industry. I'm just going to start up the session by playing their profiles. And if you're joining us from wherever you are joining us, I want you to let us know where you're joining us from and what you do. Maybe if we have time at the end of this session, you'll be able to join us and share with us your experience with starting your own small business. So I'm just going to play the profiles of my guests this morning before I allow them to say hello.
Adeline Quarshie is the Managing Director of Credence Microcredit, a business leader focused on entrepreneurial creativity to bring financial solutions to businesses and individuals. Adeline is a transformational leader poised to lead small-scale businesses to the next phase of their fortunes. Adeline is a marketing graduate of the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. She also bagged an HND from the Accra Technical University and an MBA from the University of Ghana Business School. She has a variety of affiliations from MIT, Yale, Temple University, and Howard University, all in the United States. Adeline is an experienced banker with a career spanning Ghana and South Africa. She ventured into business leadership as MD of Credence Microcredit after 7 years' experience in insurance and banking. She was nominated for the Youth Excellence Awards and bagged the SHE Awards in 2020 and 2021, respectively. Joe Jackson is an experienced business leader with a demonstrated history of working in the financial services industry. He has strong business development experience and is professionally skilled in business planning, enterprise software, entrepreneurship, training delivery, and management. Joe currently is the Director of Business Operations at DALEX Finance and Leasing Company. Joe has imprinted his name in the history of African entrepreneurship in the technology space through his unique work with SOFTtribe, a company he co-founded and operated in both Ghana and Nigeria in the early 2000s. He also currently leads the team at Rainbow Consult, where he focuses on human resource management, strategic management, entrepreneurial skills development, IT consulting services. Joe is a very well-known voice in the Ghanaian fintech space, regularly sharing his thoughts on issues around the development of Ghana and Africa at large.
Okay, so you just saw a few pictures. I'm now going to show you the real live Adeline Quarshie and Joe Jackson. I'm going to start with all due respect. I know I started with ladies first for the introduction, so I'm going to start with elders first for the hello. So I'm going to give the opportunity to Mr. Joe Jackson. Please say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm really excited about being here today. I want to say congratulations to Kenneth for the wonderful work he's doing. And I really look forward to a period where we'll be sharing ideas and thoughts.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Adeline, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me on this platform. And for Ken, thank you for the honor. I pray whatever I'll share with your audience this morning will go a long way to help businesses succeed. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to start with an interesting note. We want to know our guests better, their stories. And the story of the person, you see, there are many things you can learn from a lecture, from a school, from a book. But when you hear the story, there are certain details that are shared in the story of a person that are not available simply by delivering a lecture. So we're going to start by learning about the professional background, the personal background, the drivers behind the guests we have today, and what they have built in their companies. So once again, this time I'll start with Adeline, and I would like you to please tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur, your journey as the MD of Credence Microcredit, and how did it all come about? Just share with us for a few minutes.
All right, so my journey, so I have a marketing background. So I did HND from Accra Technical University from 26 to 29. And then after my HND, I did my national service with an NGO and proceeded to work with a microfinance company where I had most of the basics from for just 6 months. And then from there, I moved to Glyco Insurance for like a year. And I can say that I learned risk assessment at Glyco. And then from Glyco, I proceeded to Guarantee Trust Bank operations for 6.5 years, where I learned almost everything I'm using from. So 6.5 years down the line, I saw the need to move into another section, which is the microfinance section, where I can help transform the financial lives of people and see businesses, especially young businesses, proceed. So that is how come I landed at Credence Microcredit as the managing director.
Thank you very much. And how did that start? How did your journey start in terms of starting the company?
All right, so I think I have an article out there last year.
Sorry about that break. I guess it's the network. I hope that comes back very quickly.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. All right. We'll give a little time and then we'll come back to Adeline.
Is that okay? Can I proceed?
Yeah. Yes, please. You can.
All right. So years back, like 15 years ago, my father used to take a lot of funds from financial institutions. We're then staying at 𝐒𝐿. And then what I realized those days were they just come around to make noise to take their monies. They were not concerned about his well-being. They were not concerned about the business he was into. They were not concerned if he'll be able to pay or not. They were just concerned about taking over properties and all that. So one day I sat back and then I'm like, oh, there could be a better approach to some of these things, whereby the people are educated, where the people are enlightened and they know what they are going into. So I had that passion, but I knew I can't start, but I would have to go and learn or get a basis from somewhere. So that's how come I landed at GT Bank, I landed at a microfinance institution at Amasamai, and then I went to Glyco also to learn about risk assessment. So I can basically say that that is where I had the passion for.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to turn over to Mr. Joe Jackson, and I'm sure everybody in this country knows who he is, but his story is always worth hearing again and again. So we're going to ask Mr. Joe, please share with us your background and your journey in starting, in helping to start DALEX SWIFT as a company. Sir, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. My journey starts really with IT, and way back in 1991, I actually started a company known as the SOFTtribe with my partner then, who was my mate from school, called 𝐻𝐿. And we started what was one of the pioneer IT firms that grew very successful in Ghana. So my journey in this whole process was that we did the SOFTtribe. We were very successful. And in fact, in 1993, we brought in $1 million in VC funding for the company. And then I decided that I wanted a completely new challenge after everything. So I moved to Nigeria and set up another company. It was also known as the SOFTtribe Nigeria, but it was just owned by myself. And one of my products that was really successful was a banking application. And that banking application was known as 𝐒𝐿, and it was sold to over, how many, what? 50, over 60 microfinance institutions in Nigeria at that time, where there was, at that time, we were just in the right place and there was an explosion of microfinance institutions. So in providing the software solutions and working with these companies, these financial institutions, I got to get a very unique insight into the operations, and then develop a whole set of ideas around digitization, automation, and now what is now broadly classified as a fintech operation. So in 2012, at the beginning of 2012, in 2011 actually, I got tired of Nigeria with its stresses, and even though we were very successful, and I just decided, so I sold the company and came back to Ghana. And when I came back to Ghana, I had a fixed set of ideas as to how a financial institution should run, tied intimately with the issue of automation. And so I took those ideas to a couple of institutions and ended up with DALEX Finance. And here I got a very welcome home for my ideas, and the journey started. And I must admit, sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time and doing the right thing. So all that happened was that, boom, DALEX Finance exploded. And from 2013 to now, we're talking about a year-on-year growth of in excess of 50% year-on-year growth. Compound annual growth rate was exciting, of course. And so that's really my journey. It's from the IT end. It's from digitization. It's from automation. It's about taking a traditional what was a traditional finance house into creating what is really one of the first fintech companies in Ghana, in the sense of a truly digital financial operation, which is completely branchless, completely automated.
Wow.
And that's my journey.
Beautiful. I'd like you to tell us a little more. You know, I thought I heard wrong, but you said in 1993, you got a venture capital grant, or grant of about $1 million.
Yes, in
$1 million in 1993. I mean,
no, not 1993. Sorry, 2003.
2003. Okay, 2003. That is still, that was like what, 17 years ago, right?
17 years ago.
18 years ago. 18 years ago. How much was $1 million 17 years ago? I mean, it's incredible.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
I think we need some calculators and computers. That is awesome, man. And now we have DALEX growing at 50% year on year. Tell us a little bit about the philosophy behind DALEX as a unique fintech environment.
Well, the philosophy is twofold. It's one about the culture, and two about what we do. It's DALEX. The philosophy there is that we are what you call a market culture. Now there are 4 kinds of cultures, but a market culture really says I am aggressive, and each member of staff should share in the profits that we make for each business. So you find that 100% of all front-facing DALEX staff are on a commission that rewards them monthly for how hard you work. This is not a bonus scheme that is, what do you call it? At the end of the quarter, you are appraised and then you're given a bonus. This says that you're giving certain KPIs on a monthly basis. Once you meet those KPIs, you have a commission and your salary ratchets up and up and up based on how well you're performing on a monthly basis. So essentially, is to align what matters for the company with what matters for you as a person, and to say that your own personal growth is how the company grows. And so that culture has been phenomenally successful. And we've married that culture with 100% automation, digitization, such that in Ghana, I tell people that DALEX makes loans all over the country, and our turnaround time for loans without you walking to any DALEX branch, turnaround time 2 hours.
Wow.
2 hours, 2 hours turnaround time. That's the respect, and everything is done via Momo.
Yeah.
We identified Momo as the solution of the future way back in 2014.
Wow.
2014, we identified Momo as the way of the future. And part of our growth was simply that as Momo grew, our services got even more convenient. Because whereas all the banks, and when I say all the banks, I mean commercial banks, microfinance banks, everybody had about 10,000 touch points. With Momo, you have over 250,000 touch points. So if I'm investing my loans by Momo, it's very hard to compete with me.
Yeah, precisely. And that was, I think for me, that was one of the key attractions to the DALEX product, because what you're saying is that I can reach you via USSD and Momo, whether you're in the village or in the city. So this is not like some class thing. It's for everyone who has any kind of phone, right?
I'm telling you, and one of the things I'm proud about is that DALEX has done phenomenally well for providing financial services to the underserved in this country. Where whether you are in Joji, whether you are in Kukrantumi, whether you are in Zabzelegu, it is possible to get financial services over your phone. Deposit products and loan products. That is where we've been successful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to turn over to Adeline and have her share with us as well that philosophy around the Credence product. Who are you reaching? Why did you choose that segment? You've told us a little bit about what drove you into that space. So please tell us more about that.
Okay, so I think I'm personally enjoying this interview than any other person. I've learned a lot from Mr. Joe Jackson.
Brilliant.
All right, so what I can say about our philosophy is we believe in what we do. So I can say our philosophy basically is about faith. So we believe in what we do. We believe in our customers to the extent that we don't see them as customers, but we see them as families. We believe in our systems. We believe in our staff. And we have a unique way of doing what we do. Credence is not too old. We are just 4 years in this industry, but I can say we are doing so well. Technology-wise, we have a lot of platforms that allows our customers to come on board. And I believe most of the things we also incorporated was Mr. Joe Jackson just said. We do Momo as well. We have a digital platform whereby we do disbursement. We are using, you can basically send an email as an instruction for loans. So you don't have to walk in and fill application form. We allow you to sign an indemnity form with us. And then, so wherever you are, even if you are in London and your business is here and you have records with us, you are allowed to send an email, and this email can be printed as an instruction to process your loan. And disbursement can be done same day if you have records. Recently, we've launched out the 72 hours. And within the 72 hours, some happens in a day, others 2 days, but maximum 3 days loans are disbursed. We see all our customers as families. So then if you are family, then we have to go together. If you are family, we have to sit together. If you are family, it's not just about the interest we are charging, but it's about your well-being. If there's if you are family, that's what was at one level, we have to see it at the next level by joining our family. Do you get it? So the philosophy of Credence is basically about faith. We have faith in everything we do. We have faith in our structures. We have faith in our styles. We have faith in our families and our customers as families. And we have faith in the systems we have here.
Thank you very much for that. Beautiful. That is a family-oriented organization. You want to, you are interested, genuinely interested in helping people reach their goals with your financial solutions. That's beautiful. We're going to take a short break and we're going to learn a little more about the DALEX products and the Credence product. When we're back, we're talking more about loans, defaults, what the opportunity is for small business owners with DALEX and Credence.
Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6 to 8. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler. Yet it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Invest now.
DALEX SWIFT makes it so convenient. Use your mobile phone.
At Credence, we seek to consolidate on our brand as the most preferred and credible in the microcredit industry in Ghana. Our products are customer tailored and centered with excellent customer care. Our clients are our most important asset and we treat them as such. Credence has the most amazing, astute, resilient and outstanding team of professionals who bring tremendous industry knowledge from a broad array of disciplines. Technology has been our driving force in delivering excellent customer service to our cherished clients.
All right, so that's a little about DALEX SWIFT and Credence microcredit rather. So we've been talking to Mr. Joe Jackson and Adeline Quarshie on their products as well as their thoughts on small businesses and access to capital. We started mentioning the issue of loans just a few minutes ago, and I want to dive into that question of loans. And typically in our part of the world, we find that loans tend to be quite expensive. And we also, touch on the issue of defaults. Just a few, was it last week? There was this trending video in Nigeria about a sitting senator whose premises was besieged by bank staff because of the amount of money he was owing the bank. Obviously because they felt their jobs were threatened by that scenario. And we have also had cases in the recent past in Ghana here where whole organizations, microfinances and banks collapsed because of loan defaults and improperly loans that there were no due diligence attached to the disbursement of such loans. So I want us to talk a little bit about loans and the whole subject of the cost of it in our part of the world, the whole subject of defaults. And I believe on the one hand, financial institutions are afraid of the small businesses that cannot be, held to account. So, they don't want to give money out. On the other hand, we find cases where the small businesses are saying these loans are too expensive. If I take your loan, I'm not going to make enough money to pay it. So let me start from Mr. Jackson to generally discuss that subject of loans, particularly with respect to small businesses. Sir, you're on mute, please. Okay.
I'll be honest with you. Loans are way too expensive in this part of the world. And that's just the truth. And there's a specific reason why loans are expensive. The most important reason is this. There's only a quantum of money that is available to lend in an economy. That quantum can grow, but albeit slowly. Now, what then happens, what has happened in this country is this. The government borrows so much, even locally, that it crowds out the available funds that can be given to local businesses. So really, even before we start talking about the big business and the small business in this country, we've got to remember that for so long as the juggernaut, which is the government of Ghana, is borrowing so much, you're going to find it hard to reduce the cost of borrowing because there's only so little. So the supply versus demand, there's a mismatch. And invariably, the price will go up. The cost of borrowing will go up. So the big elephant in the room when we talk about borrowing costs is really the fact that the government crowds out lending to the private sector. The second issue is really this, that defaults are high.
Okay.
Defaults are extraordinarily high. And why are defaults that high? Defaults are high because of a number of reasons. On the high end, defaults are high because it's people, first of all, they lie, they misappropriate funds, and there's a culture of not paying. But on the low side, when you talk about SMEs, there's also just the difficulty in identifying someone. And all of us hope that the Ghana card, if it will come quickly enough and give us, it will help give us a solution where you cannot hide and you cannot dodge. Because when people feel they can hide from paying, they will not pay, especially in a culture where we don't like to pay.
Yeah.
So there's this explosive mix between low supply of funds for lending, a culture of not paying, an inability to identify SMEs. And when you put all that together, it's just that defaults are high in a regime where supply of funds is also low. So what happens? The cost goes high. And ultimately, that's why those of us as finance houses, microfinance, we lend at such high rates, high default rates, and because when I have to draw in funds, I pay hand over fist to pull in funds, because the easiest thing for anybody to do is to give funds to the government at the high rates that government bills are being sold, and then just sit on next to riskless investments. So,
okay, so the banks are trying to survive. I mean, it's like, I want to survive first before I help other people survive, right?
No, it's not even I have to do business.
Yeah, of course, yes.
And to do business, my costs are high because I have to buy funds. Really, think about it. All we are all doing is I buy funds from people who have surplus and sell it to people who have a deficit. I buy funds and sell funds. Now, the supply of funds is lower than should be because there's somebody out there who can buy funds almost riskless, and people want to go and buy the funds, especially given even the more recent financial sector cleanup and the mess that's been around. So given that people want to stay safe, when they bring money to me, it's expensive. If my raw material is expensive, when I manufacture my goods, it also be expensive.
Yes.
So that's why it's so, first of all, it's even hard to find someone to lend to you. Then when somebody is prepared to lend to you, the rate is even higher.
Yes. Okay. Great. That is insightful, and it's you know, when I listen to the analysis of some of these issues from experts like yourself, the more I try to hone into the micro, the more the issue becomes, the issue is apparent that the issue is a macro issue, and that no matter what we do, the government must come in, the big players must come in, the regulators must come in. I mean, the real people moving the big money affects all the other, includes small people. So that is insightful. I'd like to turn over to Adeline. I want you please share your views on this issue of loans. My perception sometimes is that when someone launches a microfinance organization, they just simply say, okay, what is the prevailing lending rate? I'll just take that and go. I mean, is that the case? And how do you see this playing out? Please go ahead. Your thoughts.
Yes, so we have a lot of people coming here, and sometimes they go like, the rates are high or the rates are very expensive. But our industry is even very difficult than probably where DALEX find themselves now. So mine is a sole proprietorship and is a microcredit. So we are not even allowed to take investment. You're supposed to raise your investment from families, from friends, from some HNIs. So when we say HNI, high net individuals. So it's a bit tough. So you can't. Also, let's say +5 of TB rate. It's not allowed. It's not done. So when I came in this business, I needed to raise my own funds to start. And the beginning stages also, I didn't really know that my banking experience could not really save me that much. I thought everything was clear, everything was clean. The road is clear, I can just move. So when we give our loans, we ask people to pay back. And along the line, we realized most of the loans are not coming back as expected. So it increased our non-performing loans. So we're left to no option than to also increase the rate a little to survive. It is really, 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 really tough in this sector. But along the line, when we learned the experience and we sealed all the loopholes, things have started getting better. Fine. Even in COVID, we're doing, and this year has been fantastic. Right? But when we started, it was very expensive because I had somebody, a friend of mine from GT Bank, who gave me money at 36% interest rates per annum. Now this 36%, so it means that I'm paying him 3%. So whatever I'm giving out the loans, at whichever rate I'm giving out the loans, 3% is not coming to me. Plus expenses, my salaries, my rent, PAYE, SNAID, license renewal, name them, a lot of them. Even the software are micro banking. The credit reference bureau, you have to pay them and all that. But as compared to the banks, so they have something called cheap funds. So cheap funds we can classify as all these deposits that are not booked under treasury bill. They sometimes work with these funds, right, at no interest. So if a bank is giving you a facility at 3%, a microfinance company cannot give you a facility at same rate because already 3% is going into our investors.
Wow.
Coupled with non-performing loans and other factors, that makes our rate very high. But I think this business is more of quantity than quality. You need the numbers. So as you are growing, so the rate we started with, now we are no more offering our customers that rate. It's coming down. It's even 50% down now. And it's still coming down because we are still working on the rates, because I can say now we are growing. I can say now we have the numbers. I can say now we have tight systems and structures in place. I can say now we have experienced staff out there who are selling our product and who are involved in assessment and the credit risk and all that. So gradually we are getting there, but the beginning stages. And I think the other side you mentioned was, why are microfinance companies not interested in investing? People can walk to you in your office. So recently a man walked to me in my office and said he needs a facility of 300,000 Ghana cedis. And now 300,000 Ghana cedis is close to like, say, 50,000 USD. I want to say it so where if someone is joining us from outside, they can have what I'm saying. So 300,000 Ghana cedis. And then I asked him, is the business registered? He said no. Do you have a bank account? He said no. Do you have some strategies or action plans drafted on paper, like you have your drawings down to govern it? He said no. What is there? He said, I have been in a business for 6 months, but I have nothing to show. No financial institution is in business to collapse.
Yeah.
If you want to go down, we are not willing to go down with you. So when you get some of these systems in place, have your structures laid down, you know.
Great.
Just in business to give you money for you to just go and waste it and come back empty-handed. We want to transform your life. So by doing that, we have to also make sure that the money will go and return back to us, so we can also pay our investors. So I think the problem here in Ghana is people need funding, people need funds, but they don't have proper records to qualify them for the facilities they are looking for. So it becomes very difficult. Moreover, our industry is very risky, notwithstanding. Getting to know where the customer stays and all that. GPS doesn't work at all locations. We have a lot of problems. So if you don't have these systems and structures in place to help us, trust me, you will not be given the facility.
Wow.
So I think that is the main problem why Ghanaians are.
Okay, so if I hear you and combining with what Mr. Jackson said earlier, if we are able to solve one small problem, which is the identity problem, and then which will reduce the risk of defaults, do you think that the lending rates will drop, and by how much?
No, I think it will improve because it really costs us to get to know. So if you have to disburse a loan of 2,000 Ghana cedis, the same processes that you have to go through is almost the same when you are disbursing a loan of 20,000, right? But if there are systems and structures in place to help us, so if you are going to use technology to get to know where you are through GPS or whichever medium, it's going to help us. The rate is going to come down. So if earlier on or in the older days, they were using manpower. When I say manpower, they have to get some credit officers on the field or get their team out there. This time we're not going to do that. We're going to rely on technology, which is not going to really be expensive. So the rate will automatically come down. Is that why I answered your question?
Yes, great, great.
The cost of operation will come down automatically, which would also reduce the rate we give out to customers. That is the lending rate.
Beautiful. Okay, that at least we have some hope. So I want to turn back to Mr. Jackson, and yes, we have some hope because I want to create hope. I want to create hope for those out there who they look at the building of the bank, they're already intimidated. They're not even going to come close to you. And so the question is, how do we create avenues for them to come closer? So I'll go into the next question around your structures, because as much as the banks are the financial institutions are afraid of the customers are also afraid of the banks because of experience. They say, okay, I don't want to put money into this institution because after some time Bank of Ghana will say such and such, close it down. So what do you think was responsible for the recent experiences we had with respect to closure of banks or financial institutions, microfinances in Ghana? I think that was 2 years or 3 years ago. And what do you think helped you survive, DALEX specifically? What do you think helped you survive? And what do you think they could have done better to give more assurance to the population that I'm a genuine institution and I'm going to be here for good? You have the floor, sir.
Okay. Now, the simplest answer I can give about why these institutions collapse was first and foremost greed. Greed. Now, you cannot and you should not, and it is even illegal, to set up a financial institution that takes depositors' money and your primary plan is to use it to fund your own businesses and transactions that you are affiliated with or related to.
Yeah.
Because there's a very simple reason. Loans will go into default. It's a fact of life. Now, one of the reasons why people we take a risk is that I take depositors' funds or even funds from high net worth people who trust me, and I go and give it out as a loan. Now, I have to recover. I have to ensure that the money comes back because it is not my money. Now, when I lend to myself, I cannot be as vigorous in collecting the money back as I need to be. As simple as that. I cannot chase myself. I cannot give myself sleepless nights. So what happens? The money goes. And after some time, your institution finds that you have those who have given money to themselves have misused the money, and they are unable to pay back all their depositors, or in short, they are insolvent. Now, when you marry this situation with a general slowdown in the economy like we had after 2014, then all that happens is this, that our insolvency or our mistakes are further heightened by the situation. I tell you, if that cleanup had not happened and we had had COVID, the devastation would have been worse. It would have been a lot worse. So it's very simple. Your whole philosophy as an institution is that how do I operate transparently with integrity so that my clients not only are assured that I am a safe place to give money to, but I can demonstrate it patently day by day. And that's how you survive. We survive simply because DALEX strives to operate transparently and let everybody know what we are doing and how we are doing it. And sometimes people complain, oh, DALEX, your CEO and yourself, you may be on the news a little bit more than Ghanaian businesses. I'm just struggling to make myself a lot more transparent.
Yeah.
Make myself more transparent and visible. And then work with integrity. And listen, the financial sector is lucrative enough. If we are not greedy, there'll be more than enough to go around.
Beautiful. That's absolutely lovely. And I think you just came down to the fundamentals of doing business, the fundamentals of trust. Can I trust you? Can you trust me? In the whole mix. Can I trust the bank? Can bank trust me? Can the bank trust me not to default? Can I trust the bank to be around to enough? All right, I'm going to delve deeper into this business issue, basically. And I'm going to ask a question around how lucrative is raising capital using loans? I mean, Mr. Jackson, you are a business strategist yourself, and maybe you've ventured into one or two other things aside from DALEX. So if you were to advise a small business owner who is going out there, what, in your experience, first of all, are there small business owners who come to DALEX and say, okay, I want a loan for this, assuming you do give loans, and what do they find that they can pay for those loans? What kind of businesses will they do to be able to afford the loans as they are in Ghana currently?
Okay, now I'll tell you this. As a small business, you need finance. But your first recourse in finance as a small business should not be a loan.
Wow.
Yes. Especially in our environment where a loan is expensive. And me as a financial institution will be unrelenting in my effort to recover my money back. And to recover it in full and on time. As an SME, especially a micro business, you may not need that sort of pressure on what you're doing. So I tell SMEs that your traditionally, and more importantly, in this kind high interest regime, your recourse to should be first family.
Okay.
Your family trusts you. They believe in you. We talked about trust. Your first recourse should be family. Your second recourse is your friends. And those are the two F's. The third F we find very interesting. The third F we classify as the fools.
Really?
Yes. We classify them as fools because they don't have the expertise to evaluate whether your business is viable or not.
Okay.
Unlike my colleague Adeline, who's done risk in multiple, in insurance, and in the banking sector, they don't qualify. So they really will give you money based on, I like him. He's a good guy. He won't. So we call them fools. So we say your first recourse is the three F's: friends, a family, friends, and the third F is a fool. But really, the third F represents an angel, somebody who trusts in you, believes in you, and will give you money. That should always be your first recourse before you think of a loan. And even when you start thinking of a loan, start thinking, can I get a concessionary loan? Can I get a loan from NBSSI? Can I get a loan from any of the schemes that the government is talking about? Because if you come to me, the money is not mine. And I have two sets of clients. Those who have given me money and those who are borrowing the money. And I have to keep them happy. I keep them happy by making sure that those who have borrowed pay. So there will be pressure. In this high regime of a high cost of borrowing, please don't use a loan as your first recourse. And I listen, out of every few every 10 entrepreneurs who walk into my place and ask for a loan, I will sit down with you and say, think carefully. Look at your expenditure. Why do you need a completely new car? Can you do with renting a vehicle? And Ghanaians are quick to buy assets for the business when they should be leasing, when they should be renting, when they should be hiring. And what we forget is this: once you acquire an asset, it comes with its own sets of problems. So instead of, you have a pure water business and you rent the aboboya every day to go around and distribute your water, it's working fine. All of a sudden, you wake up one day, you get a brainwave. If I had my own aboboya, I would save myself 200 cedis a day, and So I come to Adeline and I say, I want a loan to buy an aboboya, and the best aboboya in town now is 10,000 cedis. Forgive me, don't buy the aboboya. Keep on hiring, because guess what? The day the aboboya is broken down, you still have a 200 cost. It's not, the cost is not yours. The person who rides the aboboya, who drives carelessly, is not your matter. And we always think of if I had this asset, I would save this money. If I had this asset, I would save this money. When you should be thinking first and foremost, hiring, renting, leasing. You know why? Because it fits your cash flow.
Yeah.
If it's your cash flow. So really, coming to me with a proposal to buy a new vehicle, coming to me with a proposal to buy the house which you've been renting as a factory, or the land that you've been using for a workshop, half the time I will turn you away and say it's not worth it. Keep on hiring, keep on renting. Let me tell you something. DALEX Finance, in all our glory, we don't own a single landed property.
Wow.
Not one. everything is hired, everything is leased, even at our level, and we are considered one of the most successful businesses in town. So please, number one, friends. Number two, family. Number three,
angels.
Yes. Before you start thinking loans.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. That was absolutely insightful. So insightful. And as Mr. Jackson mentioned the subject of landed property, I just recalled the fate of one of the institutions that failed simply because of that. Too much brick and mortar that basically unfortunately got them in trouble. So let me switch over to Miss Adeline Quarshie, and about the subject of businesses who come to you say we want a loan. In your experience, do they manage to raise enough money to pay back the loan? And when they don't, what happens to them? Do you send police after them, law court, macho men? I mean, let's know. Okay.
All right, so I 100% agree with Mr. Joe Jackson. If it is possible, start with money from your family members or from friends, if it is possible. Unless you have a peculiar situation whereby you have a good business idea, it is very lucrative, and you've done all your analysis, and you have all the drawings on the board, you have your action plan, you have your strategic marketing plan, you have everything, and you are so unable to raise funds. The little you have, I will advise you start with it. And along the line, like you rightly said, look for a bank, more especially because you'll be able to get lower rates from the banks than the microcredit, kind of, let me put it like that. So going for loans is not really the problem. The problem is you would have to have something from you invested in a business. So if the business should encounter any problem. So Credence like this, I completely started with my own funds. I didn't start with loans. It was purely my funds. Along the line, my big brother had the zeal in whatever way to support us and come on board. So he also invested or injected money in the business. And gradually, as we were going, I had other people, other family and friends coming on board. So I totally agree. But at Credence, if you should default, to give you the room, like I said, we see our customers more family members than customers. So we give you the room. We have monitoring and evaluation team that goes out there to monitor your businesses and to help you put your structures in place. So recently we did like a financial literacy or kind of education for the people of Amazon and the market women. So I was teaching them how to keep proper records, how to separate your access from your expenses. At the end of the day, how to know whether you're making profit or not. So we do all that to help you. So we don't really jump on board to take you to the police station and all that. In as much as you give us a post-dated check as a mode of repayment, because that's basically what we also use. So in as much as we give you a check and you also give us a check back, when you default, we will first of all we'll come to your level and understand what's happening. So if it's something we can help, like setting structures right or something you're not doing right, we'll do all that. If you are proving futile, or if everything we are doing is proving futile, it's not really helping, and you're also not pulling your weight, then we'll proceed probably to the police station or from the police station to court. But mostly, let's say 90% of all the customers, when you give them time, not all the time, but give them time and try to help them come back on their feet, it helps. You're able to recover through that means even more than using the court or the police.
Okay. All right. So Adeline is saying that Credence is a friendly bank, is a friendly institution. Yeah, so we don't chase people, and they also help you to make the best. Okay, great. Sure. Okay, that's great to know. I hear a comment from Miss Ine saying that, Mr. Jackson, I'll direct this to you. He said when you lease, you give too much negotiating power to the landlord. So she's, in quotes, challenging the idea of leasing. What do you think about that, sir?
Now, you see, first of all, every SME suffers from cash flow issues. The number one challenge you have is how to, that's why access to finance is so important, because it smooths out your cash flow. Now, each time you buy, you are making your cash flow issues worse and not better. Every time you acquire an asset. So listen, as much as you may give power to your landlord, as much as you may give power to whoever is renting or leasing some asset to you, I tell you clearly, the power you lose is nowhere in comparison to the damage you are doing to your cash flow. So please stick to hiring, stick to leasing, stick to renting. It's a much better policy.
Okay, so I imagine that there are models you can use to, estimate what and compare those strategies, whether you want to buy or lease, right?
Yes, they are models.
And yeah.
Yes, they are models, but there's one basic issue, which is that do not buy an asset from your existing cash flow. Buy it from savings. So if you truly need to buy an asset, start saving. Start saving. And when you've saved, buy from that asset. Or when you've saved enough, then you can come and negotiate and say, I have saved 60% of that asset. And I have demonstrated that over 6 months, I can save this amount. Give me a loan. Then you are in the right. So never buy an asset from cash flow. Buy it from your savings, especially when we're talking about landed property, fixed assets, vehicles, landed property, etc. Please buy it from your savings, not from your cash flow.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, sir. And Adeline, I'm going to give you the opportunity to, as we're almost getting close to the end. So I'd like you to, I know you mentioned earlier the support you give small business owners when they even take loans from you. I don't know whether that is paid support or otherwise, but I'd like you to share with us some of the other product offerings and services that small business owners might be interested in from Credence.
Okay, so we have the business loans and then we have the SME loans. So basically the business loans are for the business guys, those in business up to less than 20,000. And then we have something for the informal sector, kind of, so the SMEs. So usually we group them minimum of 5 and then maximum of 10. So we give them like 2 weeks grace period to pay on a weekly basis. So we have all these packages. But you should have your, like I said, you should have your structures in place. If you are selling, you should have the capacity to pay back the money you are taking from us. And we should see your cash flow. If you have all this in place, why not? We have a package for, we call the SME package, and then we have the business loan package also for the business guys. So these are the 2 packages I can see. So we have other packages for salaried workers, the personal loans and all that. But for business loans, we basically have 2. One for the SMEs and one for the big guys, kind of.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to swing back to Mr. Joe Jackson, and I'm going to ask you about the DALEX SWIFT product specifically. It's a very interesting product to me, and I would want you to, if you could just talk a little bit about it, and then about other products that you have that are specific to SMEs.
Okay, thank you. Now, DALEX SWIFT, the principle is very simple. I want you to be able to save your money anytime, anywhere, 24/7 through the medium of your phone. So all you have to do to save your money is you have Momo in your account, you have money in your bank account, you just pick up your phone, you call up my app, you punch in the amount of money you want to save, it connects with your bank or your Momo account, and the money is transferred into a savings account. You can see how much money you have at any time. You can see how much interest you've earned, how much deposits you've made, what is left towards targets that you've set yourself, and the system keeps reminding you if you are missing your target. It's a contributory investment scheme. Now, the key thing here is this. Scientific research shows that the motivation to save disappears exponentially every minute after you have received your income. So my whole premise is this: by giving you a facility where you can save as soon as you know that you have some income, I'm making it easier for you to save. The good news is this: we're introducing a whole new loan scheme that is going to be based, that will allow you to take the private sector and small and micro entrepreneurs to take loans over and above what they've saved to help them in running their businesses. So listen, it's a good thing coming out there, but the basis should always be how much money are you be able to generate and put into savings. And that's what the whole DALEX SWIFT, it's about making it easy to save. And you can do that over USSD, even if you don't have a smartphone, or you can do it over an app.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no branch, there's no relationship officer, everything is done over your phone. We have over 140,000 contributors who give us money, sometimes daily, monthly, weekly, or somebody just puts a lump sum down and waits for some time.
Wow. Wow, that's big. That is fintech for the grassroots, right? Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. Okay, we are almost done, so we're going to take a short break. Sorry, my banner is covering my face. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to read out a long question. It's almost a book that is here, and we're going to think about it for a minute or two while I play another video, and then we can respond to that and share our final words. It says, with regards to how financial institutions manage default, I'd like to find out from Madam Adeline, how much is enough analysis of the customer's business concerning their ability to pay? We all know that what COVID has done to businesses, yeah? For example, at the time of borrowing, everything looks good in the books along the line, COVID or maybe another disruption comes to throw it off balance, hence default of loans. How do you handle situations like this? So I'll give you 30 seconds to think about that while I play this short video. Then we'll come back.
Everybody to the dance floor.
This is a dangerous group. The groups that we're dealing with now.
Come on, we go to the beat, yo.
Killers, you know us well, we're SOL, so we be the illest. With the mic in our hands, we feel like Moses taking y'all up to the promised land. We come through swiftly, strictly giving us praise.
Okay, so we're back and we are almost out of time. So I'm going to once again display this question and bring back everyone on the screen. So I'm going to give the floor to Madam Adeline, like you were called, and ask you to look at this question. What happens when all the calculations you did initially no longer hold? What do you do with the customer?
Okay, so I would say there are some external factors which are usually beyond us, right? We don't have any control like COVID, like you already said. So during the time you are taking a facility, everything looks good. We did our assessment, you have the capacity and all that. But like I usually advise people, you should have your own money invested in the business. I think Mr. Joe Jackson also already said that. So sometimes even if you are affected, you are not affected fully, right? So you have your basics, that is not loans. So you can even use some of the proceeds from your basics to sort out the loan and still survive. But if everything is on loan, that is when you are going to have you're going to run into a big problem. Secondly, I also mentioned here that we have our team who are out there for monitoring and evaluation. So they will come and sit down with you, right? And then analyze everything, whatever is happening. So I think with this situation, this is the way to go, right? So please put the structures in place. We will help you. Not that we are going to, unless of course we are trying to help you and you are, and there is no us than to use the other means. Please do get it. So we're going to help you. Our team is going to come out there and help you. So now you've lost everything. So some facility to go and buy tilapia. Unfortunately, she was admitted at the hospital. And then there were lights out in the area for 3 days. No lights. Everything went back. If there's a little injection to put you back on the feet, when you have your structures in place, we will. But Credence is not an NGO, neither are we charity organization. So I'm not saying we'll not do anything at all. But what I'm basically saying is we'll help you. Everything we have to do possible as a family, we'll do it. So including we supporting you again if there need be to get back on your feet. So you can service the loan. That option too is available. I believe I've answered Nimate's question.
Thank you very much. That's a beautiful response. Yes, so I'll just take that. I don't know whether Mr. Jackson, you want to add something to that? Your sound? Mute mic.
Okay, I agree. And you realize that Credence is not a charity organization. So as much as they can make allowances for you for COVID, they've got to still recover the money that they put out. And the thing is to be able to see things from both sides, for the institution to realize that this is COVID is an extraordinary situation, and for you to realize that how can I meet them halfway so that we all can keep taking along until we get over this COVID situation.
All right. Wow, it's been an awesome day. I think we have said a lot today. It's been really, really good. And sorry about that. Yeah, it's been really, really good this morning with a lot of learnings around what it means to run a microfinance. If you think it's that easy, you should start yours. So thank you so much, Mr. Joe Jackson. Thank you so much, Miss Adeline Quarshie. I want to take for the next maybe 15. By the way, let me mention here that this video will be live, will be available on YouTube perpetually. So everything we said here is available for those who are not here live to watch and to still comment, still engage on, and possibly still engage further with you personally in your offices with respect to any kind of help that they may need as small business owners. So you've opened yourself up to more or less that kind of assistance. So I'd like you to please share your final words for this session with small business owners who may be struggling out there, looking for how to raise capital or to elevate their business, especially after COVID. Let me start with Ms. Adeline Quarshie, please.
All right, so for anyone in business, what I can say is whatever you see today is hard work over the years or over the weeks. We don't just come to a level you've not done anything about. You have to prepare very well. So when it's time to prepare, you prepare very well. But whatever you are doing, just be dedicated to it, be passionate about it, hardworking, and then we cannot say all this without the God factor. Please involve God in whatever you are doing. Without Him, it's difficult.
Wow.
Involve God in whatever you are doing. It is very difficult. He is the only one who makes a man successful and add no sorrow. So you involve God in it. You are hardworking. Be passionate about what you do. Don't be discouraged. Roots exist, but are full of twists and turns, both the unexpected and expected. But I just have to be consistent and believe in what you are doing. I personally believe in Credence, and nobody can take that from me. When you encounter me, you know that I believe in the vision called Credence, and I know we will surely succeed. We work here with passion, and if you work with passion, you can break walls. Nothing stops you. You're unstoppable. So work with that level of passion. In our culture, when you are doing something, it's very difficult for people to come on board to help you unless you push to a level. Trust me, when you start a business, I think somebody come and give you 1 million. It doesn't happen like that. Push the business to a level whereby they know that they can really manage 1 million Ghana cedis, or really have the capacity or the structures in place to manage 1 million Ghana cedis. Otherwise, your uncle may have same amount of money at the bank. So keep pushing, work hard. When you get to the top, you have a lot of people coming on board to help you to make the vision realistic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. That was powerful. In fact, I think I'll take a snapshot of that and make it a motivational video for my audience as well. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Joe Jackson, would like to hear from you as well. And incidentally, a late question came along about your use of technology. You mentioned that before, but Anthony wants to know more about that. And then you share your final words with us, please.
Okay. So, Anthony, very briefly, there's a scheme that we're starting with our customers who are on SWIFT that will provide them with loans and use alternative means to score them. So, for example, your Momo records, and we are targeting those who are small businesses who are doing business on Instagram and Facebook. So that's an option. My first thing to use, join SWIFT and dial 721, and then you will have access to that loan. On another note, I say to every SME I meet, record keeping is a pain, especially at your scale, especially because as an SME, you're doing everything. Every one of you is playing multiple roles. But if you want to reach the next level, record keeping becomes absolutely critical. This has been, my colleague Adeline has mentioned this before. She mentioned this earlier on this program. But the last thing I leave you with is this. If you keep records, you will find that getting access to finance is a lot easier than you think. It's a pain, but stick to it.
Wow. Wow and wow. I think we could go on and on. Go on and on. But we have to stop here today. And I promised both Adeline and Mr. Jackson that we'll spend 1 hour. But and I'm sure that they are recalling that promise in their minds. So I'm going to stop here, and I want to once again give a lot of thanks to Mr. Jackson. It's an honor and privilege to have you join us on this platform. The kind of interviews you have are not our kind of small interviews, but you chose to bring yourself to our level to share with us, and that is very much appreciated. And I'm sure what you've dropped will go a long way to help everyone who is watching or who will eventually watch this. And I want to thank also Miss Quarshie, and it's awesome because I think I spent about 3 months trying to get Miss Quarshie actually. So it happens like that when you're doing these kinds of things and you're doing it at a beginner level, so to speak. So I appreciate the fact that eventually I was able to catch up, and we are here, and the records are here of what you have deposited into the lives of those who are listening. So this is the Truth Interviews, and this recording will be available on YouTube. And if you want to get in touch with us and maybe get in touch with Credence or DALEX, it's everywhere, all across Ghana. Get help. Whatever you're doing as a small business, get help from the experts. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm now going to close the broadcast.